Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Edition of Inside the Firm. I'm with Lance, regular man, Wario Cayko.
Wario.
If you see him on YouTube, you'll see why. I am your co-host, Alex Gore, and to kick things off, I want to do a shout out to Architect to Builder at architectsguide2.com. This is a course we've been talking about for a while. It's a course Lance and I made. It's a course that sets you up to take the transition to leap, to extend your revenue by building some of the stuff that you design and create. You already have a good handle on it. There's a couple steps you need to do, and I mean the design. A couple steps you need to do to manage that project to create more profit, and we show you there at architectsguide2.com. Go take a look, check it out.
I actually have a shout out before I get into the sponsors here who help bring you today's podcast. Shout out to Joe Ophoff. He is one of our newest fans. And he says, it's been a while since we talked shop out projects. I hope you've been doing well. Even though it's been a while, I feel weirdly that I know you better than ever. I have no idea that you and Alex had a podcast.
And Alex is great. Look at that.
Yeah, and Alex is super handsome. Just kidding, I didn't say that.
Yeah,
I have been listening for a couple months now, working through the sizable backlog, and you guys are awesome. I've become a bit of an inside the firm evangelist. So I really appreciate the perspective and information. Keep up the great work. Joe, thank you so much. That encouragement really helps us keep going.
He's from Scott Home Inspections. Have we used?
Yes.
So I don't know if they're national or not, but if they are great to work with. They're easy, efficient, and good, fair price.
They do home inspections. They do HERS ratings. They do energy services, so they can do the. I think they can do the manuals,
yes,
JS and D. Yep,
they do.
Very reasonable, competitive pricing. And then rental inspections. So give them a shout. Give them a shot. Just a free plug here. Go to scotthomeinspection.com. That's scotthomeinspection.com. Tell them we sent you, and you're off to the races. This episode was also brought to you by Pella Luxury.
Pella.
Experience a collection of brands that brings your creative vision to life. The luxury division of Pella is a world-class collection of brands, including Duratherm, Riley, and Bonelli. All pioneers of industry who provide window and door solutions to discerning architects, the building industry, and beyond. During this holiday season, we know how important it is to step back and spend time in gratitude. We appreciate all of our clients trusting us with their projects in a record-breaking year. We are excited and ready to take on the new year. The luxury division of Pella doesn't push beyond limits. We set them. Explore PellaLuxury.com/the firm. That's PellaLuxury/the firm. Please do that, because if you visit that link, specifically with the /the firm, that shows that we are bringing people their way, and they will continue to support our show, which supports you. This episode was also brought to you by ARCAT. If you haven't used ARCAT Spec Wizard before, now's the time. Spec Wizard is a patented tool that allows you to specify a product in just 3 steps, all for free and without even registering. Step 1, research and find the right products for your project on arcat.com. Step 2, use the Spec Wizard tool to select products and options. Step 3, generate a complete 3-part CSI or CSC specification based on your selections. That's it. Again, Spec Wizard is free to use and requires no registration. Just head over to arcat.com, that's ARCAT.com today, and try Spec Wizard. Al, back to you.
All right. Let's go over. I have an idea. If you are not having a Christmas party, we're going to go over our Christmas party, and maybe you can. I think you still have time to directly copy it. Even if you are a sole proprietor, I have a, like when they do exercises, like what's that guy with Dancing to the Oldies? My mom used to do that all the time.
Keep going.
Okay, they didn't do this in Dancing to the Oldies, but I know I've seen it on TV.
I know what you're talking about.
They're like, hey, you do the push-ups. Oh, you can't do the push-ups. You do it on your knees. You do push-ups on your knees. You can't do that. You just, you do wall push-ups, you know? Mm-hmm. So whatever that is called, an amendment right, to a party, I think you can still do it. So what we do every year is that we rent a limo, we do a very cool activity, and then we go visit some project sites, right? So if you're a firm of 4 or 10 not doing anything right now, man, call up a limo company, say you need it next Thursday, take everyone out, get some beers in there, get whatever. Get
We
some
actually need a
sodas.
blimmo now, a bus/limo, because we are grown.
And then if you are a small, like a single person, man, maybe just that's your day to go around to job sites and just look at it. And then, or maybe you partner up with someone that you know that's another sole proprietor. You go to each other's different projects.
What
you
if
rent
you,
an Uber.
what if you have your favorite engineers with you?
Rent an Uber.
And interior designers. Like, you just make it a whole thing.
Yep. There you go. I'm going to go a little bit more into our details because we haven't had the time to talk about it. Right? So just so
Yeah, we have. Okay, fair enough, Al. We haven't had time for the details, but we complimented each other. I want everybody to know this. We complimented each other this year because we're like, wow, we are on the ball. We have this booked like 3 weeks in advance.
Yep. We did, which was great. So anyways, tomorrow, limo gets here at 8:30.
Yep.
We'll have everything ready to go, and first project we're going to is the Dacono build project. Okay? Spend some time there, walk around, show everyone. Then after that, Ivanhoe.
Nice.
Then after that, at 11 a.m., paintball.
Nice.
Okay? Then how long do you have paintball rented for?
I think it's only an hour.
Okay.
And trust me, that's all you want is an hour.
That's all you want. Then after
hurts.
that, all I have is pizza lunch, ? So like somehow like someone will get on their phone and we'll order pizza or go pick it up or something like that.
Oh, okay.
We'll
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yep. Then after that, Pine Hollow. And then if we have time on the way back, because that one's in the mountains, we could stop by Reed Street on the way back.
Cool.
And then we're going to drop people off in Denver, the rest in Longmont. That's the party.
That's the party. Yeah. It's a good time. So we let loose a little bit. We always bring a cooler with beverages and hang out. And then I think my best part is my favorite part is actually going and seeing all the sites, the site visits, right? So where we have buildings actually being built, whether we're building them or not. And it sounds like we're doing 3, but maybe 4 tomorrow.
1, 2, 3, possibly 4.
Possibly 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
So cool.
You should do that. Life is short. Treat yourself. If you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know, I can't afford it. Like, just, I don't know. There's other cheaper ways how to do it or something like that, maybe. But if you're not, you can't just work the whole time.
Yeah.
Life is so short. You really gotta, like, what's the point of working so hard if you can't take some time and enjoy the fruits of your labor?
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool, even if like you're a single proprietor. Let's say at 11 o'clock or whatever, drive home, decide, hey, I'm going to get some food. I'm going to call an Uber, take a 6-pack. I don't know if you can drink in Ubers, but I am officially recommending it right now.
Something like that.
You go to a couple project sites, come home, have it drop you off, had a good Friday.
Yep. Alrighty, on to some other news here. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see my screen. And so I actually ended up subscribing to this. Now I get emails every day because I really appreciate what NAHB does, right? So they're the National Association of Home Builders. And I really appreciate the kind of data they are willing to share with us regarding economics. So the article I have pulled up here is called, the title is 25% of new single-family homes are infills or tear downs.
It's a lot more than I would have expected.
And that's exactly why I wanted to pretty much read it to you, Al, and the listeners, because I think it's staggering to think about.
Wow.
Right?
I would have thought it was 5%, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty substantial. And so into the article here. According to the latest annual Builder Practices Survey, 1 in 4 new single-family detached homes were built in established neighborhoods in 2020.
Can I do the breakdown for people? So if you can't see it,
yeah.
Let's go from left to right. Pacific, which is California, Oregon, and Washington, is 38%. The mountain region, is about 23%. And then in the Midwest, there's 2 different Midwests. So from Minnesota over to basically the Dakotas and Nebraska is 19%. The other side of the Midwest, which is Wisconsin, Ohio, things like that, 19%. New York area, Pennsylvania is 39%, which you would think. Past New York, up there, New England area, 48%. Oh, that's the highest. Then you have the South Atlantic, so south of Pennsylvania, all the way running all those, basically the south half of the 13 colonies, 21%.
Yep.
The next states in before you hit Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas is the central south is 26, and then Texas, Oklahoma, and those other 2 are 25. So yeah, I mean, you do get up into the 40s up in the. It makes sense up there, but 25% is a lot.
Yeah, even in the Midwest. So like the West, North Central, so North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, all the way down to Missouri and Kansas and Nebraska.
Yep.
Yeah, 19%. So they had the lowest share of that, right? So I'll kind of went into why that was happening, like, or the map wise, right? But the article kind of goes on to say market share of homes built on infill lots varies greatly by geography, with a share of nearly 25% in New England, the Middle Atlantic and the Pacific, but barely 12% in the Midwest. Teardowns follow similar suit with a share of 10% or more in New England and the Pacific and East South Central. So I think I think it's a staggering number to think about, right? Because you would think, because you keep hearing all of these alarms going off and these buzzwords again about sustainability and climate change and that we're building all the farmland up, but it doesn't look like that's the case. It does not look like that's the case. That's happening at all.
And then anyone that thinks that we are taking up too much land, I will take you on a 10-day drive through.
Not a joke.
Easily
not a joke in terms of 10 days.
And every road we will go on, there will not be a house that is more than 1 per 100 acres. There's that much land.
Yeah. So that's just kind of.
And tell me, this isn't remodels. This is
brand
new single family.
These are new. Is back to the article. 1 in 4 new single family detached homes were built in established neighborhoods in 2020. Yep.
Wow.
Cool. Yep. So what that correlates to, I think, is I can only speak to 2 different cities where I know, actually 3 now, where this typically happens, where this, what I'm about to tell you again, typically happens, right? There's Portland, Boulder, and Longmont where we operate. What they've done is they've put a ring around the city in each of these cities. Boulder and Portland did it first, and what they did is they said, here's the water ring. So if you try to build beyond this ring, you can try, but we're not going to serve you water. Right, so you might have to drill a well if you even can. In certain areas, you can't. Right, and then what Boulder said, we're going to go one step further than that. We're going to buy up all this space, just the farmland, basically the cattle land, grazing land around the city with city money, 99-year leases, and you can't build there. It's called open space, and then we're going to dedicate it to just like hiking trails or just nothing. No,
well, I mean, they're basically farms right now, and then some of them secretly hope that they just go back to literally prairie land. So you've been to the national grasslands in Colorado. It's literally where people shoot. There's nothing but maybe critters out there, and that's what they hope it goes to, even though like just an hour away you can go to. Literally, I think that's bigger than Vermont, all of Vermont, the national grasslands.
Yeah, it's huge. And then in Longmont, what they did is they didn't do a water ring per se, but they did the land ring around it. So I can't speak for all of these other places and why they're experiencing this lack of developable land outside of the cities that they can expand, because that land is always cheaper on the edges than it is on the inside of a city. Yeah. So what this really means in the end is this trend points to, once again, possibly artificial scarcity of land, and therefore, if you're going to create artificial scarcity, you're going to create with actual demand coupled with prices are going to go up. Like they're just not going to go down.
Yeah. The second order effects of your decisions might make other priorities harder to do, like affordable housing.
Yeah.
Yep. I got something. I want everyone to be aware, at least talk about, at least think about, look up, and not be gaslit about natural gas.
Nice.
So the reason why I think that this is important is because one of the steps to a quote-unquote more sustainable future is electric cars, at least in my belief, because they have the ability to take from more renewable resources than ICE cars, which is internal
combustion engine.
Thank you. Because those only run off a couple things, where electric car could run off of anything from fusion power to fission power to wind power to solar power to dam power to natural gas power to coal power to you could do gas power. You could have a plant that lights gas on fire.
Well, you could just have a generator on your house and charge up your car.
Exactly. So you have more of an option. And the reason why I think that is important is what we are then building as an infrastructure, those plants for that, are now going to be used up in cars. Because I made a prediction, I think it's very, very true, that by 2030, half of the cars that will be bought will be electric cars.
Yeah, so let's say there was 1 million cars that were sold in the United States. What he's saying is half of those.
Yep.
Not that half total. That's impossible.
Right. So that means I think maybe you can look up how many cars are sold a year. Can you look that up?
All right, I'm your Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie. So I think it's 8 million. That's it.
Let's see.
Wow.
Well, let's look at the rows here. Statistica is saying something about 2017. Why didn't they? There it is. There we go. That's all they gave us. So it went up to 2019. 2019, it was about 17 million.
17 million. So about 7.5 million cars, right, are now going to be plugged into the power grid. That's a lot of cars doing a lot of things. Cars are... Have you picked up a battery? Have you picked up a battery and redone your battery? Like, they are very heavy, right? So they need a lot of energy. So right now, there is a movement in California, New York, and in Longmont and other cities to either overtly or subvertly ban natural gas.
And that word subvertly is critical here, because I will talk about an article shortly here after Alex kind of finishes up. There's overtly, New York City is doing it. Subvertly, we're seeing a different trend.
Meaning they will delay your permits. They will basically make it so slow that you can't get it through or cause you problems.
I have seen city council people write in emails, quote, "We will make it harder on you if you choose to heat the buildings with natural gas."
Yep. Or even just think about water. Just, your water.
On-demand water?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. So now, not only is this might clog up the system and create an artificial scarcity or power grid failures for cars in the future, which are generally in the direction that you don't... I'm not saying to buy electric car, but if you have the choice in the competition and if you want one, yes, I'm doing it. That's totally fine. So you have that's causing a problem. But then you also, in the medium term, let's just say you say, hey, I want to be full sustainable. So one, you should probably be for nuclear then, right? But two, that's going to take a while. So in the meantime, do you want more things burned from coal, or do you want more things burned from natural gas? And here's what I'm getting at, is that natural gas emits about half as much carbon dioxide as coal and 30% less than oil. 30% less than oil. So if you're saying, hey, it's good to ban natural gas because we'll just do solar and wind and the other stuff. And if you think nuclear, like, it takes so long to make one of these plants, especially to go through these 4th generation plants that they're making. You will literally be extending the life of coal longer.
Exactly.
Which is worse than doing this intermediate step, because I don't know what it is. I don't know, like, what is this effort? Why is this happening? Is it just this is bad? Like, why wouldn't you ban if you're holding the stance?
There's no nuance to the thinking.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Honestly, if it was, hey, we want green, why don't you ban coal? Like, honestly, why are you doing natural gas? Yeah. Like, why wouldn't you ban coal then if that's what you want? Yeah. Because if it's half as much carbon dioxide, it means coal is twice as much producing negative producing emissions than natural gas.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, exactly,
I don't buy it.
Exactly. So it reminds me. So the United States is one of the richest countries in the world, right? So we have a lot more time on our hands, and we're not trying to pull people out of poverty like places like China. So you got to really keep perspective on this. So I just Googled China builds coal plants per week, and then I pulled up and it said last year China built more than three times more new coal capacity than all other countries in the world combined, equal to more than one large coal plant per week.
It's a lot.
That's a lot, right? So, why are we hurting ourselves when there's this? It seems like we've been given this nice intermediate step, which is natural gas. So where I was going with this is CNBC came out with this article and they said, this was just yesterday, Wednesday, December 15th, 2021. New York City is banning natural gas hookups for new buildings to fight climate change.
And this is why I'm confused. It's like, I'm on your team to fight climate change. Let's say that.
Who doesn't want a clean planet? Who doesn't want to leave a better planet than their kids? Nobody. No, there isn't anybody out there.
Yep.
I mean, maybe one person.
Sure. Yep, that's fine. So it's like, hey, I will hold your hand and we will walk forward, and you take out a gun and you shoot either yourself or me in the foot.
That's the analogy I was looking for. Why are we shooting ourselves in both feet?
Yeah. And this is why it's so scary too, is because not only do I want to hold your hand, hey, I want to buy an electric car, I want to put solar panels on, this is all cool, we're holding hands, you take out a gun, you're aiming it at my foot and your foot, and now I'm like, why am I on your side? What is happening here? Or why are you being this dumb?
Yep.
I don't know how else to say it.
Yep. So the key points of this article, I won't go in deep more than just the facts. The New York City Council on Wednesday voted to pass legislation banning the use of natural gas in most new buildings. Under the new law, construction projects submitted for approval after 2027 must use sources like electricity for stoves, space heaters, and water boilers instead of gas or oil. If they, as Alex pointed out, this is the critical point, they're not building new nuclear plants at the speed that they're going to be able to keep up with this extra electricity that's going to be needed, coupled with all the cars that are coming online. Where do you think they're going to get it from? They're going to extend the life of either coal-fired plants or actually natural gas. So what you're doing is you're taking, it's like your tailpipe, it got extended. You've heard this analogy before.
Yes. And here's what's so crazy about it, like what you just said. But I don't think people realize, add on to Lance, how hard it is to build a factory. It's extremely hard to build some sort of plant. Really hard, takes a lot of time, a lot of capital, right? Now take that with how slow and how in chunks those come. With once you build a factory and actually do for cars, what does it shoot out? Literally per hour. Cars per hour on the dot. Tesla does it. GM does it. Ford does that Ford F-150 with the frunk. I mean, come on. Now you have 10 plants shooting out cars, and then you also have to go, oh, we have to build a whole new plant. That's going to take a long time. And there's, we could substitute with natural gas if all these people could heat their water with natural gas, and then they could use their solar panels for their car. Oh, we banned that. Oh, what's happening? Why is there this blackout? Because we're idiots? Like, how are we this smart and this dumb at the same time? I know,
exactly. No. And so the last third point is the bill would cut about 2.1 million tons of carbon emissions by 2040, equivalent to the annual emissions of 450,000 cars, according to us. But again, you're extending that tailpipe. What I wanted to bring up regarding the emissions was, I'm on now a different article here. It's called U.S. Natural Gas Leads All Energy Sources in Carbon Emissions Reductions. Let me repeat that. U.S. natural gas leads all energy sources in carbon emissions reductions. This is a 2-year-old article, but it's by a .org, Energy in Depth. There's many other sources. If you don't believe me, you can look up that this is the actual, these are the facts, these are the truth. So the little graphic they have up here basically paints the picture very clearly. The shift to natural gas for electricity generation resulted in 50% more emissions reductions
57.
than What did I say?
You said 50. 57. Almost 60.
Almost 60%. 57% more emissions reductions than renewables from 2005 to 2018. So this natural gas is the stepping stone. But even so, like, the wind doesn't always blow, the sun doesn't always shine. And so, this idea of just solar panels and wind turbines alone is not going to cut it. We really, really, really need to start taking seriously the idea of bringing back nuclear in the 4th generation or the 5th generation. I don't care, but you're not serious about climate change and solving the problem if you aren't talking about nuclear, while at the same time you're saying ban natural gas.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to hold up the Crowder, change my mind. Go ahead, email me, akg@f9production.com, if you want to. But it doesn't seem like a good idea. I mean, I don't see what points you're going to pull out. Because basically what you're going to say is, hey, this emits carbon, so if we ban it, there will be less carbon. But their only replacement is things with more carbon. And to say that you're going to replace all of that natural gas with only stuff that doesn't have carbon is not true. It's just not true. It's just not true. You can say the words, doesn't mean it's true.
And his name is Al Gore.
That is my name.
Just in case you forgot.
Yeah.
We had a special guest on last weekend, and time, and then in between then and now, I don't know if I would say it's because of this podcast, but it seems like it's like a correlation doesn't equal causation. However,
it might.
Maybe there's a coincidence here. Elon Musk is back again after winning Time Man of the Year.
How did you get him to be on the podcast?
I ripped a video off Twitter.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Let's hear from him.
A lot of the push for higher government involvement and expropriation of assets by the government is really pushed by a bunch of politicians who are actually saying that resources shouldn't be in control of people, of private individuals. They should be in control of the government. They're basically saying they want control of the assets. I think in terms of things that people should perhaps get upset about is, like, I think getting upset about excess consumption is a thing to get upset about. But if somebody's just wasting money on personal luxuries in a crazy way, I'm not Warren Buffett's biggest fan, frankly, but he sits there and he reads all these annual reports, which are super boring. Does anybody want that job? I think most people do not. I don't want that job. But like he's not like engaged in like insane conspicuous consumption. So you have to say, like, okay, sure, he's got a high net worth, but he's doing a useful job for the economy, and he's very skilled at it and should probably keep doing it.
So he said in another quote, why would you give more capital to someone to allocate capital that's proven bad at it, the government, and then take it away from someone that's not? And to just simplify, which I think everyone got, is people like Warren Buffett. There are people that spend lavishly and crazily and stuff like that and don't need to. Sure.
Rappers.
I agree with that. there you go. But Warren Buffett lives in the same house he's lived in since, let's say, the 1970s.
Drives the same car. Eats the same lunch every day.
Eats.
That, right?
Yeah.
Prime rib and a Coke. That's what he eats.
And his biggest luxury, which he will admit, is he has a plane. Because he travels, because he reads these boring things, and then he goes and all that. And he's like, I just couldn't handle all the travel. I'm sure he's like 87 now. I have no idea.
It's totally fair, man. Jeez, at some point, yeah.
So he is really good at capital allocation. So keep it in their hands. And I didn't know that this was going to be the clip that Elon Musk was going to personally send you just for you to put on. But it links into the entire point. The first point, second point of our show is they're making a capital allocation and an energy allocation decision. And the reason why I am upset is because I think that they are poor at it and should stick at the fundamentals, because it could lead to dire consequences when it's something as vital as energy.
Yes, and it's objectively true what Alex was saying. Like, if you cannot tell me when you listen to that is not objectively true. In every single, even if you're left of center, I guarantee you agree that, like, the government spends money, they just piss it away.
And can I use an analogy to the extreme to maybe prove the point? So California and I won't use California example, only that it came up in the Entree Architect Facebook group of how long it takes to do an ADU. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm getting at is this natural tendency of the government to bog down processes in the reason of, hey, fair, freedom, they want it to be more. They literally think that it will give people more resources if they handle it, which I don't think is true. So here's the example. Housing crisis is such a crisis that the government now needs to become in control of all residential building. Okay, who are you going to put in charge to do that? Oh, let's put the head planning department people in charge. Oh, who? Let's just say the largest cities. So let's just use Colorado because we're in Colorado. Denver and Boulder Planning is now in charge of all housing, construction, and development. Would that be in a year the same, better, or worse? And if you are in architecture and deal with them, you know it would be worse. You know it would be worse unless you're just dealing with some county that's just fine and great, and that happens all the time too. But like if you have worked in those cities, in California cities, and New York cities, you know that it would be bogged down. It would not be a great solution. It would literally be like if you handed yourself your second year architecture thing and said, yeah, make this on an efficient budget. You'd be like, hey, second year me, what are the thicknesses of these floors and what is this made of? How are you spanning between these things? What is all this wasted space? Like that, because they just don't have that real world experience to allocate it efficiently and do it in a good way because it's literally centralized planning and doesn't have the experience to execute on that. So that's the analogy from the architecture world. Now, man, if they are allocating and regulating to that extreme energy or just basically banning it, like you're going to gum up the system.
You're going to gum up the system. Alex sent me like at 6 o'clock this morning or something. He's texted me this link to a Wall Street Journal. So Elon's been doing all of these interviews, right? He got Time Man of the Year. Like I totally think he deserves it. So does Alex. But anyway, he sent me. So he's been doing all these interviews. So there's a lot of content from him. He did an interview with Wall Street Journal. It was 30 minutes. I listened to it. Or it was probably more than that, but whatever. I listened to the 30 minutes of it. And the analogy I love that he made about this was he says, look, he goes, I'm not taking a libertarian standpoint to the extreme where I don't think there should be any government, right? What I'm doing is my stance is that the government should not be a player. It should be a referee. That's it. It shouldn't be on the playing field.
Yeah.
The government only should be a referee, right? Yeah.
No, it's so funny.
And here's why banning gas, when they ban gas in New York City, is beyond a referee. Because they're telling the players exactly, they're interfering with the game such that they're starting to be a player.
Yeah. Libertarians would never take this position because a lot of libertarians that are deeply committed are very purist. But I think it would help them if they said, yeah, we want the government out of basically everything. And then people always say, what about the roads? If they said, oh, besides the roads, yeah, the government can build the road.
Yeah.
Then people would be like, well, oh, okay.
Yeah. Look, I'm one of those purists, and I'm okay with that. I'm saying, like, sure, they can have the roads. It's 2% of the budget. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's never and honestly, the purists, that should be, that little argument about the roads should never fumble them up. It should never fumble you up because it's such a minuscule part of the problem. It's like, who cares? It's the roads.
Here's the other thing. Shit. Speaking about that, it's like you are stopping your political party. And I'm not advocating for the liberals because of this one thing. And it's just like banning gas. It's like, oh my God, you are shooting yourself in the foot for this purist idea that doesn't work in reality. Is messy.
Reality is messy. Yeah, it is. It's messy. It's gray, which means that's why we need to throw everything we have possible at the climate change problem. Like you can't just pick and choose. Like we got to all hands on deck. If it's that serious, if it's that existential of a problem, if I believe what the media is saying, everything's gonna fall over, then nothing can be banned. Like we got to just figure it out.
Yep. Lance believes the media.
Lance media psycho.
Yep. So let's just hard transition into A.R.E. Jeopardy after that and bring down the crew. Question 1. All right. How many degrees off of 90 is a wall considered a roof? Okay? You guys got my little boop there? That was for the visual people. Is it A, 10 degrees, B, 80 degrees, C, 45 degrees, D, 60 degrees? And you should know that this part is in the wall code.
I know.
They did not replicate it in the roof code.
Okay.
We have A and C. The correct answer is D, 60 degrees.
Huh.
Which would have been weird. 45 would have been a great one. Because it's like, you're halfway. You know?
It takes it to be a 30-degree.
Yes. For a wall to be considered. Yeah. And Lance,
But there are plenty of roofs that are steeper.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. So Lance, once you make your A-frame house, you can't call it an A-frame until it's at least 60 degrees.
A lot of pressure.
Huge amount of pressure. Question number 2. Crawl space vents. This is an oldie but a goodie. Crawl space vents need a net free area of 1 square feet for each X amount of square feet of crawl space area. So how much crawl speed area equals 1 square feet of net vent area? Make sense? Is it A, 100 square feet of crawl space, B, 150, C, 360, or D, 300?
Good question.
Great question, me.
For every X, one every X. I think I know.
D and B, is that a B? B is 150. That is correct.
Nice.
150.
All right. Number 3, the shift away from coal to what energy source for electricity generation resulted in 50% more emissions reductions than renewables from 2005 to 2018? I'm going to repeat that. The shift away from coal to what energy source for electricity generation resulted in 50% more emissions reductions than renewables from 2005 to 2018? Is it A, clean coal, B, natural gas, C, nuclear fission, D, nuclear fusion?
I will laugh at you if you write one answer.
Clean coal?
Nope.
What do we got? C? B? C? The correct answer is B, natural gas.
Yep.
That is
I
a
would
fact.
have. Nice. Very correct. I would have laughed at fusion because that doesn't exist yet, really.
Not yet. Not yet. You mean fission?
Nope. Fission is out. Fusion is in.
Oh,
Fission
okay.
is what all the nuclear plants are right now.
Okay.
Fusion is in research.
What do we got? 2-1, 2-1, 1-1? Dang. Number 4, France derives about what percentage of their electricity from nuclear energy? A, 33%, B, 50%, C, 70%, or D, 90%? Look at Ross fervently writing. We've got D, we've got C. The correct answer is C, 70%. Good answers. Okay, I think Katie wins.
Where are we going to eat tomorrow? Hefes. We might be in the wrong city, but great answer. That is all I have. If you want to check out transitioning from an architect adding the services of builder, go to architectsguide2.com.
If you like this episode, please share it with a friend. Please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Subscribe, leave us a comment, and we will see you next week.